Hey there, how's it going? Today I'm going to be reviewing a zombie game. And I know there's been a lot of them recently, so it's pretty hard to give a crap about another one, right? Okay, I know, but hear me out here, okay? There's this game, and it's a zombie game, and you should give a crap about it, and it's called Dying Light. The very fact that this game was able to draw me in, despite its overused zombie premise, it speaks volumes about just how much fun this game is to play. So, needless to say, I spent many hours slaying the undead, and let's get started with the review. For simplicity's sake, I've split this review into only two parts. The first is things that I didn't like about the game, and the second is things that I did. Pretty simple, right? Okay, so let's start with the bits I didn't like about Dying Light. At the foreground of its fallings is the story, which is just barely adequate. It gets things done in a very generic way, and at times I couldn't help but feeling like I was playing some rehashed Call of Duty narrative.
Yeah. Yusuf said you tried to make trouble.
Yeah, well, Yusuf was right.
And you're fucking dead!
It takes a lot of action game cliches, slaps them together, and calls it a story with little regard to how much sense things really make. It failed to make me care about any of the characters, including the main love interest that you spend the majority of the campaign chasing around. This character is named Jade, and she's basically a complete bitch.
Okay, we're going in. Act confident.
And gets mad at you for letting somebody she knew die. During a fucking zombie apocalypse, by the way. I mean, this game just takes place smack in the middle of a zombie epidemic, right? So, by the time the game starts up, Jade must have seen dozens of people she personally knew, get killed and sometimes even get back up and start killing again. So, she should have been somewhat desensitized at this point and not overreact so much. This is a point that drives much of the plot, and it just doesn't make much sense. Instead, it comes off forced and kind of unnatural.
I hear your voice, and all I can see is my brother.
Please, just hear me out, okay? Look, the thing is, the GRE hired me, alright? I was supposed to find out where Rise sent this classified file, but that doesn't matter anymore because the Ministry contacted me.
The villain is also extremely forgettable, let me tell you, as all he really does is give long speeches about how chaos is his god. I mean, come on, dude. The Joker did it in The Dark Knight years ago. Can't you think of your own material? The last bit of the story that struck me in the wrong way was that many of its quests were no better or more interesting than a lot of the side quests offered. You know, like the stuff you'd see in World of Warcraft? Gather 3 pig's feet and bring it back? And sometimes the objectives to quests were hidden a bit too well. Like this meteorite here under the goddamn water, sitting next to a bunch of rocks that look exactly like it. I mean, what the fuck? Anyway, moving on to the stuff that I did like. And thankfully there's a lot of it. The graphics in this game are gorgeous, an even more impressive feat once you realize that Dying Light is already 3 years old. The draw distance in this game is just absolutely insane. Just climb to one of the city's highest towers and you can see for miles and miles. There's no blurry low-res distance rendering here, none at all. And somehow the frames per second never dip down below 60. The visuals are simply fantastic, enough said. Secondly, the random challenges located across the map are very plentiful. These provide a nice diversion from slaying, looting, and questing. Sometimes they come in the form of a parkour challenge, and sometimes they're combat trials. Either way, they're sure to test your zombie survival skills to the limit, because I found that they can actually be quite difficult. For example, the ones labeled hard usually took me around 6 or 7 tries to complete. So, pretty tough. I also found myself immensely drawn to the huge variety of crafted weapons. There's just a buttload of weapons in this game. The majority of them are melee things like cricket bats, sledgehammers, and even meat cleavers. Also, sprinkled throughout the world, there's also things like grenades, guns, even a bow and arrow, which I found myself using a lot. My favorite item, however, was the shield, that if you put a freeze effect on the shield, and then you parry, it freezes whatever zombie was coming to attack you. If Dying Light has one feature, however, that defines it and makes it a blast to play through and through, it's for sure the fluid movement of the free-running system that the whole game is based around. The cities are literally set up to be parkour playgrounds for you. There's ziplining, vaulting over zombies' heads, and of course traversing the rooftops with lightning speed. Eventually, you even get a grappling hook to make the parkour feel even faster. You're traveling about as fast as a car would on your feet. The movement in this game is just so good that it really acts as the glue that binds all of the other elements together. Lastly, I enjoyed the crafting system, and usually I don't like crafting in games, but the crafting here never really felt like a chore. And I always seemed to have the materials I needed without having to go out and specifically look for them. And that was great. Just the right amount of crafting for me. Positives and negatives. Positive. Extremely enjoyable free-running system. If you play this game for just one thing, this is it. Positive. Huge arsenal to choose from. Positive. Huge unlockable RPG-style skill trees. I love me some unlockable skills, let me tell you. Positive. Awesome visuals. Positive. Tons of extra content. There were so many more quests I could have done before completing the main story, I'm not even kidding. Negative. And this is a big one. Subpar story. I don't know how to say it any nicer than this. The game story sucked. You won't care about it. I didn't care about it. It's very generic action story. Oh well. Negative. Some missions not marked clearly enough. I got lost and frustrated a bunch of times while playing this. Maybe that's because I'm stupid, but I just think some of the objectives were kind of hidden. Dying Light doesn't break the mold. Much of what you'll see here will feel overly familiar, and the overused zombie setting certainly doesn't help. Despite a few hiccups and its shamefully cliched story campaign, the game actually has a lot to offer. The parkour system is fast and exciting, and coupled with a fun combat system, Dying Light manages to be the best zombie game out there. It will provide many fun hours of zombie slaying goodness, and I would give it 2 thumbs up. That's why I'm giving Dying Light a final score of 8.5 out of 10. Thanks for watching.